Hello? Hi everyone, it's time for another Q&A video. It's been a while since the last one. In fact, it's been like 42,000 plus subscribers ago. So yes, it's been a while. A few weeks ago, I mentioned this Q&A video and asked you for your questions. And thankfully, you've got design dilemmas. And I always say, ugly keeps me in business. So I just wanted to thank you for sending in your questions. Not only do they become the impetus for some of these design lessons and interior design tips that you see here on my channel, but they also provide me with a sense of what you're struggling with and how I can better help you. Today, we're tackling your specific questions. And there were many, but I picked out a few questions that had a universal appeal, so to speak. Questions that I get a lot. So let's get to it. Our first question comes from Karen here on YouTube. Should the window treatments in the front of your home all be the same or just all the same color? Great question. Well, I think you're going to be shocked with my answer. It's complicated. I don't think you should worry too much about matching your window treatments from the outside. Some people think all of the front-facing window treatments should match, but then if you live on the corner, that means the front and side windows should match. Seems like a lot to worry about. We live inside our homes, and although the outside needs to be some sort of cohesive concept, I don't think it matters if you have different window treatments. It's never really stopped me in my tracks. Unless, see, this is why it's complicated. Unless you have window blinds. And more specifically, if you have a lot of different types of window blinds. Window blinds like roller shades, roller blinds, Roman blinds, Venetian blinds, etc. In many cases, they actually sit inside the window frame up against the glass, so they are extremely visible from the outside. And some blinds shut out light completely, whereas others are better at diffusing light. It really depends on why you need those blinds in the first place. So if you need window blinds, I would try to keep them at least in a consistent color. I wouldn't want to see a wooden blind in one window and then a blue Roman blind in another. In fact, I try to match my blinds to the trim color so that they blend into the structure of the window, and then I add drapery if I want a more decorative, softer look inside the room. Another point to remember is that most drapery panels will be lined on the back side, so that's really what you'll see from the outside when the drapes are drawn closed. So for the most part, it will look the same throughout, even if you have floral curtains in one room and then a geometric print in another. You won't see the fabric from the outside. So basically, don't worry about it too much. Unless you have blinds, then worry about the blinds. Hope that wasn't too complicated. Next question, Winnie from YouTube asks, for pillow insert and pillow covers, should I match 20-inch inside and outside, or should I get a 22-inch insert with a 20-inch cover to get the puffiness? So I think I may have initially misread your question because you're asking if you should get a smaller pillow cover for a larger pillow insert because you want puffy pillows. No, that will not work in your favor. You want the same size if you want a puffy pillow or larger. So I tend to order a 1 or 2 inch difference between the insert and the pillow cover. So if you have a 20-inch pillow insert, then the most you'd want to order is a 22-inch pillow cover. This will give you a looser fit around the pillow insert and will give you more cushiness when you sit back on your pillows. It allows the pillow filling more room to move around. It creates a more casual, cushy look. It also gives you more room to create that perfect pillow chop. However, it also depends on the fabric. So in my Amazon haul video, where I ordered these velvet pillow covers, I actually ordered the same size as the pillow inserts. This is a bit of a gamble because not everything is sized perfectly correctly, or the zippers may not be wide enough and it may be too tight for the pillow insert. And yes, it was not easy to stuff these pillows. But I really wanted a luxurious looking pillow without a lot of slouch. I just think the texture of the velvet looks great when it's a tighter fit. So like you, Winnie, I want these velvet pillows to look puffy, but not necessarily cushy. So I purchased the covers in the same size as the inserts. But for the most part, always size up 1 or 2 inches. Our next question is from Instagram. Laura asks, hi, I saw your video about backsplashes on YouTube and need some advice. We are going to be changing our countertops to white springs and we have a pretty beige tile for backsplash. Our dilemma is whether it's better to stop at the level of the cabinets or should we go all the way up to the ceiling with the backsplash? Okay, Laura provided some photos, so we see here that her upper cabinets do not go all the way up to the ceiling. So this is a really important design detail, because if we take the backsplash all the way up to the ceiling, then it would have to go all along the space between the ceiling and the top of the cabinets. I don't think we need to do that, especially since she also has this area here, a peninsula, and I can't see what's above those cabinets or how far the wall extends outside of this peninsula, but if you were to install backsplash all the way up to the ceiling, it would really be a lot of backsplash, and it's really not necessary. It would be overdone or too commercial looking. So in this case, I would keep the backsplash in line with the underside of the upper cabinets and continue that line past the windows. And don't worry about the wall space above that line. That wall space would be just painted out. And I would do the same on the peninsula side as well. Fill in the underside of the cabinets with backsplash and take that line across until you run out of countertop. I wouldn't install backsplash in line with the top of the cabinets because that brings your attention to the fact the cabinets don't go all the way up to the ceiling and you don't want your attention way up there. You want it down at the backsplash. If you have other backsplash questions, I hear this video is very helpful. Do check it out. Another question from Instagram about kitchens and specifically kitchen islands. I need a suggestion from you. Is there enough space in my kitchen to have a small island? And if yes, where and how should I place it? Sneha goes on to say that they've taken out a washroom to make the kitchen bigger. Sneha, I love that you've given up a bathroom for your kitchen, and more importantly, that you provided me with measurements in feet. I know we're supposed to be metric up here in Canada, but everything construction up here is in imperial, so that helps me a lot. So it looks like you're saying you have about 13 feet wide, and it looks like 10 or 11 feet in depth. I really don't have enough information to tell you definitively if an island will work in this space. For instance, if you're doing a U-shaped kitchen with the island in the middle, then by my calculations, you'd end up with a 3-foot wide island. But if it's just an L-shaped kitchen, then you'd have more like an 8-foot island. You need to take into account the space the cabinets will take up, as well as the circulation space that's needed around the potential island. And in this photo, I see a door. Is that door staying? That will impact the circulation space as well as the natural flow between major elements like your sink, your stove, and your fridge. I get a lot of questions about kitchen islands, and the answer is never a simple yes or no. Planning a kitchen takes time, and there are so many variables beyond the actual elements that make up every kitchen, like appliances and cabinetry. Circulation space is key. Window and door placement is key. How the kitchen opens up to other spaces is key. What kind of cook you are is key. I have lots of videos about kitchens, kitchen islands, and kitchen design. Just know that if you're struggling with a kitchen design dilemma, you are not alone. I love designing kitchens because they are always challenging and no two kitchens are alike. So this might be a good time to tell you that if you need more personalized design advice from me, you should check out my Patreon page. Head over to patreon.com/designchickee. It's a great way to support this channel so I can keep making more design videos like this, but also you can schedule a one-on-one video consultation with me. My patrons and I have tackled so many projects in the last few months, from paint colors and tile choices to design ideas for a new ensuite bathroom and even planning the kitchen layout for a whole new house. Plus, if you become a patron, you get a shout out here. Next question is from Lily on YouTube. She asks, can I paint 3 walls a darker color than the wall you see first when entering the living room? They would be very similar green-blue color. The color I already have looks perfect on the main wall, but translates more blue and lighter on the other 3 walls. I don't like that. I think going darker a bit on the 3 walls would look better, but wonder if it would look weird with one wall a bit lighter. Okay, Lily. Paint color, or any color actually, will always look different in different parts of the room, depending on the amount of light in the room, the color of the lighting in the room, and all the other colors of other materials in the room. So color is definitely not an easy design problem to tackle. The fact that you're finding you'd like to darken 3 walls is not a ridiculous idea. I mean, it could be exactly what you need. If you're finding you love the color of the wall you first see when you come in and the other walls are distracting you from that, then by all means try something different. You're not upsetting the universe if you paint 3 walls darker. I love the idea of finding a color that looks like the color you're loving, but in a deeper, darker formula. Sometimes you can ask your paint mixer to just add a touch more black to the original formula, and that should darken up the color. Similarly, you can add a touch of white to brighten things up. Mesa on YouTube has another paint color question. She asks, what color should I avoid for rooms with low ceilings? And does the ceiling height make a difference? So yes, the ceiling height does make a difference, because if you have low ceilings, anything lower than 8 feet, the room will feel like it's smaller and more closed in. You'll notice the low ceiling because it's just closer to you. That's reality. But colors and paint can create illusions. Most people paint their ceilings white, and the reason is because it's the best way to reflect light back into the room. White reflects light very well, so painting a ceiling white helps do that. And in a low ceiling situation, a white ceiling helps to alleviate that feeling that the ceiling is low. In conjunction with the white ceiling, you'll want a wall color that is similar, meaning a light color on the walls will help minimize the feeling of the low ceiling above your head. Everything just feels more open and more spacious. So light or white colors are great for rooms with very low ceilings, especially if you paint the ceiling white. Another trick is to paint the walls and the ceiling the same color. So if you're not a fan of white or light colored paints, painting the whole room one color will help alleviate the low ceiling feeling, because your eye is no longer seeing the line where the walls meet the ceiling. Both just blend into one another, just another illusion. However, I would still stick with colors that recede to help open up the space. Colors like green, green-blue, blue, and blue-violet are all colors that create that illusion of going away from you, especially the lighter tones of those colors. And one more trick, if you've got low ceilings, crown molding should be avoided, because it draws your eye up to that ceiling line and will be a constant reminder of how low your ceilings are. If you do have crown moldings, then paint them to match the wall color so that it blends into your light colored walls. That should help create the illusion that your ceilings are higher than they actually are. And one more question. This is from ID Addict on YouTube. How do you tackle those big round columns usually situated in the living rooms of high-rise condominium apartments? Hopefully, the architect and designers laying out the individual units when the building was first designed took into account the placement of those columns and how they create or impede space. I've seen some doozies. Columns in high-rise buildings are quite large, obviously, and they can't just be incorporated into a wall or into millwork. I mean, if you can, that would be great. Like I did here for a loft kitchen where there was a rather large concrete column. But even then, leaving the column in its natural state is the best way. And by natural state, I mean concrete. I like having the concrete cleaned and then painting or spraying them with a matte clear coat to help keep the concrete from shedding dust. The clear coat seals the surface. I don't mind seeing the concrete. I actually like seeing the texture and the natural pits that happen when the builders are pouring. Like in this photo of this office that I just designed this past year. The concrete is always a neutral gray color, so it works well with whatever color palette you're using in your apartment. I find that if you paint them, they just look more obvious in the space. Again, we're talking about really large columns, so any kind of paint finish, paint color, or marbling effect, I mean, really, don't ever marble anything. Any of that will only bring more attention to it, and you don't need to bring more attention to it. So yes, just clean them up and forget about them. So there you have it. We tackled everything from window treatments to pillow covers, to kitchen islands and backsplashes, to paint colors, ceiling heights, and even concrete columns. Wow. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions. Your cues really do help steer the content in this channel, so keep them coming. You can post your questions anytime in the comment section below any of the videos, or you can reach out to me via Instagram and Twitter as well. Head over to my Patreon page to help support this channel. I've got lots of tiers, including some personalized virtual design advice if that's what you need. And a big shout out again to my patrons. I'll have lots more design videos coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss the next video. And as always, if you like this video, please hit that like button. It helps to grow this channel. See you soon. And then I add drapery panel. And then I add drapery. And then I add drapery panel. How else do I say it? And then I add drapery. Drapery, but I can't. I don't know what it is. And then I add drapery panels if I want to more. I'm going to say curtains. Curtains, how's that? Curtains? And then I add drapery. And then I add drapery. Drapey. When I was writing it, I couldn't even say it in my head.